Recently, Netflix added a whole bunch of Singaporean movies to their catalogue. Now, there's definitely a huge stigma against Singapore media, and some of it is warranted. But there are hidden gems out there tucked away. And Army Daze is that gem. I'm just gonna say it. It's a goddamn freaking cinematic masterpiece. Released in 1996, this film was the highest grossing SG movie of its time. It's based on a play, based on a book, based on prolific Singaporean playwright Michael Chang's experiences, and it is the quintessential national service movie. We start on enlistment day, and we're introduced to our narrator, Malcolm. He comes from an upper middle class family with a protective mom and a rich ass dad. Your typical sheltered kid, kinda scared to be thrown into the army. The prolonged intro of all of them reporting to what I think is CMPB really captures the last minute jitters before enlisting as we anticipate his NS journey. He's shipped off to Tekong. Actually, I think this was made like before that, when BMT was done on mainland or some shit. They do the usual receiving of the big ass bag with the items and the holding of boxes like this, and soon he meets his section mates. Johari, Krishna, Abeng, and Kenny Pereira. Now there's a little tension, a little awkwardness here and there, but they soon ease into it. As is the case with NS, punishment, strict authority, and the hard times that come along with it help them to bond as they try their best to survive. The perpetrator of their suffering comes in the form of Corporal Ong. And this Corporal Ong, I love him. They really extracted the aged, questionable, and ironic wisdom of Inchix and turned it up to like 100.
When the chicken learns to swim, the duck can catch worms. When the river flows down from the mountain and turns into a pond, there will be fish.
Yes, of course.
After all, if you go out to sea and cannot catch fish, maybe you should be a washerwoman.
With the hotel company section, we get to see different people of different cultures, family backgrounds, and classes come together and interact. They also have different mentalities with NS. Some just want to serve and fuck off, and some see the 2 years as a waste if it's not made the most of. And of course, some just want to chow king. That's right, king, ponteng, pawn, play truant, feign illness, malingering. Early in the movie, Malcolm quite creepily meets this middle-aged Chinese man who gives him a book, 101 Ways to Twang in the Army. Twang meaning Chowking basically.
Twang! Twang, not twang!
And the only other guy who knows of this book is the biggest kinger in the section, Krishna.
I'll only be staying for one night only. Tomorrow, my uncle is going to die of cancer.
And since we're on Krishna, let's take a look at his relationship because he's the only one who's attached in the section. In a way that I thought might be racist at first, but then realized was kinda an homage, they took his scenes with his girlfriend all the way to Bollywood and it's beautifully entertaining. And as fun as that was, the film also looks at the reality of maintaining a relationship during NS. Now, one's locked away for 5 days a week, and the other longs for them, and the longing can really weigh on a person.
Krishna, I wish you were here. This is no fun without you. Do you suppose he's alright? He hasn't telephoned me since he entered the army. Is he that busy? They say the army now has got girls. Maybe he's met someone else and wishes to forget me. No. That is not possible. Krishna worships the ground upon which I walk.
Krishna does everything he can. From kinging to calling her every night at the payphone before lights out, he tries his best to keep the relationship afloat. Krishna ends up borrowing Beng's smuggled in handphone to call her, and that is also the start of a cute little friendship between the two.
Hello, Vic.
Hey, you use faster, no more battery, no.
But it's still so hard with the two of them not being able to see each other IRL. And that takes a toll on her. So when Krishna's hospitalized and his platoon commander, Second Lieutenant blah blah, arrives at her doorstep to tell her, she goes from anxious to flirtatious before the news can even register in her head.
So, you're very happy to be in the army?
Yes, I enjoy the army very much. It gives me the chance to meet lots of interesting people.
Can I get you a drink, Colin?
Malcolm witnesses it, and once Krishna's back in camp, they break the news to him, and we get to see Ah Beng console Krishna in this warm, fuzzy moment that their friendship culminates in. And he convinces him that this little flirtatious moment is nothing in the context of their 10-year relationship. But of course, he says it the Ah Beng way.
Nowadays, having girlfriend not easy, you know. Like people make fried rice. Must put the char siu, the egg, the onion, all mixed properly. Fire cannot too hot. And must all the time fly and fly and fly and fly. If not, your romance sure get burnt one, you know.
And the film also touches a little bit on NS guys who are serving while their families are like miles away. Because even today, actually even more so today, it's something that a sizable portion of NS guys face. Two of the guys, Kenny and Johari, get into a spat about a lone wolf versus band of brothers mentality they have for NS. Johari lampoons Kenny for being selfish, and it comes to a head when Kenny explodes about how his entire family had abandoned him here while they live it up in Australia. Because his dad felt that NS could make him more of a man. Ouch.
Well, you thought wrong, okay? My whole family has moved to Australia, and I wasn't allowed to go because I had to stay back here and do my NS, okay?
Also, one more thing about Kenny is that with him, Michael Chang managed to sneak in a coded queer character into the movie. Having LGBT characters in the media was and still is a big no-no. Imagine how bad it was back in the 90s. But Michael Chang said fuck that and threw in Kenny Pereira. By not explicitly saying he's queer or anything, Michael's character managed to dip the censors. Albeit queer coding is problematic in its own right. But baby steps. Also, while Kenny initially thought of going to the music and drama company, which to this day is where a lot of queer guys in NS end up, by the end of the movie, Kenny defies this and aims for the commandos. And also, Kenny's just a freaking god at the SOC.
Hotel!
Eng, 我表诶，是被汤下。
Okay, now it's the end of the movie. They finished their route march with what I have to say is the most badass epic rendition of Training to Be Soldiers that I've ever heard. I mean, they took what is definitively the most boring ass, basic ass army song and made it powerful, goosebump inducing.
Training to be soldiers, training to be soldiers, fight for our land, fight for our land. Once in our life, once in our life, 2 years of our time, 2 years of our time. Have you ever wondered, why we must serve, why we must serve? 'Cause we love our land, 'cause we love our land, and wanting to be free, to be free.
So once they're done with that, the movie ends on a high with them seeing their family and their girlfriends and talking about future postings. Malcolm's going OCS, Krishna and Johari are going to be sergeants, Abeng's going to be a driver, and for Kenny? Well, Kenny's going to be a clerk. But for the freaking commandos...
But as for me, I am joining the commandos. Commandos? As a clerk lah.
There's laughter, pictures, hugs, but then right as the movie comes to a close, Malcolm slips in and says this.
And so we wrapped up our initiation into the soldiering fraternity. Not all of us had found the kind of joy that the TV commercials promised, but what mattered was the sheer fact that we survived. We promised to organize our own functions where girlfriends were not compulsory, promised to keep in touch, and promised not to forget each other. But it wasn't easy. Before long, our special time together became just another distant memory.
And if that doesn't just perfectly tie it all together, that bittersweet ending is so real. I went through it myself. I remember my section saying, yeah, let's meet up, let's stay in touch, but as in a lot of instances, that just doesn't happen. And the connection fades away and you all slowly lose touch. And eventually the memories you have of each other are the only things you have. And you just have to hope that you don't let that slip away. So as you can see, this film covers so much ground in a quick 1.5 hours. I mean, I didn't even get to talk about the little things like how the film hilariously provides translations for some of the Singlish.
But my English so half past 6. Where got time? Don't know what got you talk. Can borrow me your cloth? Kiwi boots lah. The most holy zebra. He's a barber.
Or cheeky moments like this.
And so we sat through lesson after lesson on fieldcraft, learning how to look, move, and act like soldiers. We soon memorized the basic rules of fieldcraft. No smoking, no spitting, no littering, no chewing gum, and where possible, always flush the toilet after use.
Or the little running gags like,
Eh, okay, like take picture. Pizza, like take picture. Malcolm, like take picture. Take picture.
or anyways, if you haven't listened to a word I said, I hope you take away one thing from this video, which is that just give it a chance and go watch Army Daze yourself.
Number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up, cover up. Recruit Peng.
Yes, Corporal.
You think this is your grandfather's army, is it?
No, Corporal.
Where is your PT kit?
Corporal.
Drop 20, drop 20.
Yes, Corporal.
1 corporal, 2 corporal, 3 corporal, 4 corporal, 5 corporal, 6 corporal, 7 corporal, 8 corporal.
Gentlemen, this is no good. 5BX is very serious, okay? You people don't understand how lucky you are. You go outside, go Orchard Road, go and join your aerobics class. See how much you pay? Here the army gives you free exercise every morning at your doorstep some more. Where is your sense of appreciation?
When the chicken learns to swim, the duck can catch worms.
5BX soon became a way of life. We got up in the mornings and dragged unconscious bodies down to meet Corporal Ong, who would then proceed to teach us the kind of exercises most people associate with acrobatic troops who perform at the indoor stadium during the school holidays. But we survived. Few among us tore a few ligaments, but most of us just tore underwear. But what Corporal Ong said was true. After only 2 weeks of 5BX, we were all fitter than we imagined possible. Very fit, but also very sleepy. Boom.